Every time these women step out, they've got to strap on these custom-made iron panties. And it's their husband, cooked up this insane contraption, all in the name of keeping his bloodline pure. Immortan Joe? He's the most ruthless warlord in the wasteland, a total nightmare. Nuclear radiation has gnawed at his body like a ravenous beast. He's slathering himself in lime powder, desperately trying to numb the excruciating pain. But does he let anyone see his weakness? Hell no. He hides behind this custom-made, see-through armor, rocks a skeleton belt, and acts all badass. And get this, he doesn't even touch water. Human milk is the only thing that passes his lips. People put up with Immortan Joe's nonsense because after the nuclear war, the land turned into a toxic wasteland. And resources? Yeah, they dried up completely. In this wasteland, whoever controls the fresh water calls the shots. After seizing the Citadel, Immortan Joe could have shared the endless underground water, but he's a ruthless tyrant. He keeps the people on the brink of starvation, just enough to survive, breaking their spirits to stay in power.
Become addicted to water. It will take hold of you, and you will resent its absence.
To safeguard his territory, he orders his adjutant to set up the bullet farmer on a nearby lead mine. Its sole job? Churn out weapons and ammo. Then he brings the Oil Town mayor on board, solving his energy problems. With this powerful triangle alliance, his twisted kingdom reaches new heights, and that's when he starts playing God. These war boys are absolute psychos. Immortan Joe's brainwashing is so intense, he's got them believing that dying in battle for him is the greatest honor, the golden ticket to Valhalla. Every time there's a fight, they're scrambling to be the first in the line of fire. They get their fix by inhaling this lead compound spray from the bullet farmer. And just like that, they transform into fearless, adrenaline-pumped maniacs. But this stuff is a ticking time bomb for their bodies. They're constantly hooked up to blood transfusions, just barely holding on. And Max? He wanders into Immortan Joe's territory, and boom, he's an instant target. Even though he floors it in his escape, there are just too many war boys. Before he can blink, he's captured. The war boys shave Max bald, tattoo the details of universal type O blood right on his back, and turn him into a living, breathing blood bank. It's messed up. They brand him with Immortan Joe's logo, making him nothing more than property. Furiosa, the female warrior, isn't spared either, but she shaves her head and plays rough to avoid becoming a plaything, earning Immortan Joe's trust and rising to the top as Supreme Commander. Her job? Drive the war truck, shuttling supplies between the Oil Town and the bullet farmer. But on one run, as they're leaving the Citadel, she suddenly veers off course, heading straight for the Vulture Gang's turf. The deputy commander's suspicious but doesn't dare question her. He just rallies the troops to follow. Little do they know, Furiosa's on a mission to rescue Immortan Joe's supermodel wives and take them to the Green Place. But the moment the convoy goes off route, the dwarf scouts catch on. Immortan Joe rushes to the harem, flings open the door, and finds nothing but an old one ranting about his crimes.
Where is she taking them?
A long way from you.
These women Furiosa snatched are Immortan Joe's hand-picked breeding stock, and one's even pregnant. He's furious. He beats the war drums, calling all the war boys to war. He wants those women back and Furiosa dead. Nux, his most die-hard follower, is battling cancer. He needs a blood transfusion to fight, but he's not waiting around. He's willing to drag Max, his new blood bag, into the fight just to prove himself. The Spear Cavalry's impressed by his determination and straps Max to the front of the vehicle. With war drums pounding in their ears, they charge headfirst into the swirling sandstorm. As the red-clad guitarist shreds, the epic highway chases on, and their target? It's that war truck up ahead, the one they're dead set on catching. Furiosa, the top dog around here, didn't just stab the Citadel in the back, she snatched Immortan Joe's 5 smoking hot supermodel wives. And get this, one of them's pregnant. That's a game changer for Joe. He's going all out, sending every last war boy out there. He's dead set on taking out the traitor and getting his girls back. One look from Immortan Joe, and Nux is practically drooling. Dude's desperate to prove he's the bravest, most loyal warrior. He floors the gas and zooms off ahead of everyone else. Meanwhile, Max is seething. He's thinking, "Are you kidding me? You're using my blood." Meanwhile, Furiosa guns it straight into Vulture Town. The enemy? They're like sharks to blood. All it takes is a whiff of that sweet, sweet oil, and they're hot on her tail in those spiky hedgehog rigs. Furiosa slams on the brakes, dodging a row of spikes. The hedgehogs don't care. They're all over her like glue, ignoring the flamethrower fire raining down. They're so close. But then, boom! A mortar round tears through the lead car, sending it up in flames. But they don't quit. Another hedgehog lunges forward. Furiosa doesn't even flinch. She pops the clutch, sticks her arm out the window and fires. 2 shots, 2 explosions. She barely gets a second to breathe when, clank, something massive hits the truck. There's this beast of a cutter ready to slice them in half. The enemies are firing on all cylinders, trying to bust into the driver's cabin. But out of nowhere, the war boys pull off another crazy move. They go full throttle, wrecking the Hedgehog war chariot's control system. Those spinning gears? They yank the bomb right off Max's head. The chariot flips over, and just like that, they're in the clear. Nux is thinking, if I bring Furiosa back and rescue those breeding moms, I'll be Joe's #1 guy. But then, a massive sandstorm hits. Out of the blue, Furiosa doesn't even hesitate. She guns it straight into the heart of the storm. Why? 'Cause she made a promise to those 5 supermodels. She's gonna get them out of the Citadel, no matter what. Nux sees what she's up to and tails the war truck, ready to charge in. Furiosa uses her size to her advantage, shoving the pursuing enemies right into the storm's swirling vortex. Nux watches as his buddies sacrifice themselves, heading off to Valhalla, and man, that just fires him up even more. He floors it, aiming straight for the war truck. Nux is going nuts, splashing gasoline all over the driver's cabin. He's like, Max, watch me become a hero. But then the storm rips the roof clean off. Max seizes the chance and stops Nux from pulling off a suicide move. But in the chaos, the war truck slams into them from behind. They're sent rolling, and both of them black out. When Max comes to in the desert, he's beyond furious. He's yanking on that chain, trying to break free from Nux, that brainwashed maniac. He manages to drag Nux out of the cabin, but guess what? No key for the shackles. He's about to lose it when he spots a shotgun on the ground. He takes aim at Nux's arm and pulls the trigger. Click, the shotgun jams. He's so desperate, he's about to bite Nux's finger off. Suddenly, a rhythmic knocking echoes in the distance. Max looks up, and there's this shadowy figure. He grabs the shotgun and heads over. And what does he find? A group of gorgeous women, washing off in the desert and cutting those iron panties to pieces. Max points the gun at them, but you know what catches his eye? The water on the ground. Furiosa sees the danger and quickly signals the others to play it cool. The pregnant woman waddles towards Max. Max snatches a water gun and chugs the water like he's been in the desert for days. But it's not enough. He's still raging, yanking on that chain and pointing his gun at the woman holding the bolt cutters, forcing her over. The woman inches closer, her eyes locked on Max, then suddenly swings the cutters at his head. Before Max can react, Furiosa launches herself, tackling him hard. She pins him down, pressing her gun to his head. Click, the gun jams. She's screaming, bashing him, but Max manages to flip her over. One of the women grabs his chain and yanks, sending him crashing down. Just then, Nux wakes up. The 3 of them start wrestling for the gun. The magazine pops out, and Nux grabs it. Working together, he and Max finally overpower Furiosa. Nux cuts the chain that binds them with the bolt cutters, but Max clocks him with a punch. Max tries to drive off alone, but the truck sputters to a stop after just a few meters. Turns out Furiosa modified it, only she can start it. With Immortan Joe's convoy hot on their tail, Max has no choice but to let everyone back in. They speed off into a canyon. Furiosa makes a deal with the biker gang. 3,000 gallons of gas if they let the group pass and hold off the pursuers. But before they can reach an agreement, the enemy blocks the entrance to the canyon. Furiosa shouts the signal, and Max floors it. She dives under the truck as the bikers give chase. They want the gas and the people. They blow up the canyon to halt them, then floor the gas and speed after Max. They hurl 3 bombs. The truck's hood bursts into flames, inches from the fuel tank. Furiosa scoops sand with the truck bed to smother the fire, then leans out and takes out biker after biker with her gun. One biker sneaks under the truck, but the fuel tank derails, slamming into a sand dune and exploding. That finally stops the pursuit. But Immortan Joe isn't done. He catches up fast. Just as he aims at Max, the pregnant woman steps into his line of fire. Joe hesitates. He can't bring himself to hurt the baby. Nux sees his chance. He volunteers to capture Max, his eyes lighting up when Joe promises to send him to Valhalla himself.
You will ride eternal, shiny and chrome.
But as he jumps onto the fuel tank, he slips. Joe facepalms. What a screw-up. Immortan Joe floors the pedal and cuts Max off. His son suddenly yanks the steering wheel, and Furiosa has to struggle with a wrench to keep the truck from veering off. In a panic, they realize they're hurtling straight for a cliff, and the pregnant woman is still hanging outside. Somehow she dodges. but as she tries to climb back in, she slips and falls. Joe's truck crashes too. Max knows there's no saving her, so he keeps driving. And of all people, Nux is the most devastated. Letting Joe down feels like losing his whole reason for living. The red-haired woman turns on the charm. A few soft caresses and some sweet talking, and Nux is putty in her hands. They keep running until nightfall. Max sets bombs behind them, and the lead vehicles of the pursuers explode, getting stuck in the mud. The whole army grinds to a halt. The medic performs an emergency C-section on the pregnant woman. The baby is born alive, but it isn't breathing. Immortan Joe is seething with rage, vowing to destroy Max and the rest. After a long, brutal night, Furiosa finally leads them through the ruins and into the desert. A naked woman's strapped into an iron frame. Max clocks it as a sketchy trap right away, but Furiosa tells the crew to hold tight. She hops out of the vehicle and yells, "It's me!" The woman up in the tower does a double take, then signals her crew like crazy. Next thing you know, biker gangs come out of nowhere, swarming in from every direction. But when they see Furiosa, they rush in for hugs. Turns out she was kidnapped as a kid, and this is her first time home in over 20 years. Her tribe drops a bombshell, lands turn to acid, water's poisoned, and they've been forced to turn into bandits to survive. And get this, the swamp they passed, that used to be their oasis. Now it's crawling with freaky mutants on stilts. Furiosa's world collapses. After all that blood, sweat, and tears, her hopes go poof. But Max steps in. The oasis you're chasing? It's right in Immortan Joe's citadel. Fresh water, greenery, it's a paradise. With Joe's army out hunting them, Max has got an idea. Why not hit the citadel while it's wide open? Joe sees the smoke and his eyes go wild. He's barking orders, rounding up every war boy. Stop them at all costs. The question is, can Furiosa pull off the heist of a lifetime? This is Mad Max, Fury Road, and trust me, the second half showdown is insane. If you're itching to see how it all ends, smash that one in the comments. And if you're loving this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. Catch y'all next time.